Got to talk about Candace Owens. We got to bring her up again. This has to be one of the sickest women of all time. I don't even understand how, as a woman, you would get this off. So she did an interview with Harvey Weinstein, and she put it on her page for like Patreon. She posted a trailer on here.
How?
Well,
he's in prison, right?
Well, he's having his trial is actually being done over for the New York case. He's in prison for the LA trial that he had. He's still trying to get that appeal, but he got appealed for New York. And so basically what happened was he didn't get like he did anything, like he proved his innocence. They used someone's testimony that wasn't allowed to be used in court. And so because that testimony was used, the judge allowed that testimony to be used, they have to do the case over again, the New York one. So, but he's actually talking to her from prison, and I think it's the LA.
Not commit these crimes. I swear that before God and the people watching now, and on my family. The people who support me are scared to talk. They are frightened to death that they're going to be canceled.
What I always found to be problematic about the Me Too movement from the beginning, we're conflating he made a pass at me and I didn't like it with.
It's a complete fabrication about my relationship with Gwyneth. I didn't put my hand on her. I didn't touch her. I definitely made a pass. Ashley Judd's claims are ridiculous. I settled with Rose McGowan. I gave her $100,000. Don't tell my wife. Don't get me in trouble. It's all conflated, and it's all led to the idea that I am going to be the one they persecute. They broke me. They broke me in half.
There's just so much when you read the transcripts that defy common sense for me.
I've asked to have lie detector tests brought into the prison. So I know they're not admissible, but I want the world to know.
To be honest with you, I think a lot of people are going to hear this conversation.
Candace, one thing I can tell you is this is going to explode.
So this is the lady who we discussed on our show who was obsessed with Frankus, talking about the Jews doing all of these nasty things to people. And now she brings on her show King Nasty. What he is? He's a man and he's King Nasty.
I don't think you can say King Nasty.
Yo, they be calling us. We just did Black Fatigue last week.
I know,
bro.
but
Then
we just got monetized.
Piers Morgan asked a white woman to say the N-word on his show. I can say that on mine.
Go ahead. Get your shit off.
And all I'm saying is doesn't make any sense to me. Like, one, we can just get into just the feminine solidarity point if you want to just touch on that. But just to be the person who you claim to be and then say all of this stuff about Hollywood is touching kids, is violent, promoting sex, and disgusting lifestyle, then you go to the dude who was the champion of all of that.
She does not stand on anything other than I want to have a different opinion than what the majority's opinion is.
Yeah, she's just a contrarian.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, I just couldn't imagine not at least having a discussion with those women first if I knew I was going to interview him, to at least get an understanding of what they're saying. Mm-hmm. To hear it from them if possible. Because the only reason he's going to you is because you're the only person that's going to take him. Yeah. Nobody wants to talk to Harvey Weinstein.
No.
Because any man that does it, you're going to look like a sicko. Any woman who does it, you're going to look like a loser. She just has so much loser on her, you can't make her look worse. She does.
She thinks that it's going to get her to like a certain point probably, but I don't know. I don't think it is. And then the comments on her thread are just like concerning. Like, he was the fall guy. Like, I believe this story and went along with it from the jump. So, like, what?
So he's the fall. Who is he the fall guy for?
What's his name?
Oh, Jeff?
Yeah.
Wasn't Jeff already? Well, I guess
Epstein.
But Jeff, I'm trying to think around that time, Jeffrey Epstein was probably, he was probably dead by the time he was convicted. Yeah, because he got convicted in like 21. Jeffrey was like 19. Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
I don't know. But there was one thing that she said. She said the thing that she doesn't like about the Me Too movement is that we conflated, he made a pass at me and I didn't like it with. That was not what happened. It wasn't like, oh girl, you look good. Can I have your number? Like, it wasn't that. It was men in casting rooms literally pulling out their dicks and being like, you want this role? Do you want this role? That's not what it was. It wasn't just men flirting with women. It was disgusting pieces of men.
What I think she's doing is she's conflating kind of like during the 2010s, there was a lot of discussion around women kind of breaking down what it is to be a woman in a day-to-day. So you remember that one clip of the woman walking through New York and she got all the cat calls and stuff? And so I think partly is because of like the PR people who are running this, like, and I don't mean official, but the people who are running PR for this kind of idea, they convoluted a lot of stuff. So I can't admit that, when people were getting accused of sexual assault or sexual misconduct, it was all looking like the same thing and it wasn't specifying it. So then when you don't do that and then someone tries to act like they're waking up the story, then it sounds like, oh, well, they're making a big deal when he just did this and I thought he did this. So now it changes things in your brain, but
we need to label things the correct thing, like
but
sexual misconduct, sexual assault.
Women. Like the stories where he was raping women, though. Like that's the thing.
There was a laundry list of things that he was doing.
Yeah, it wasn't just like he was making passes at. There was women who claimed that they got raped by him, or that they were forced to, or heavily implied to have, well, not heavily implied, but heavily incentivized to have sex with him for roles and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So that is where the idea of you're a bad person comes from, Harvey.
But why didn't Harvey get charged with a RICO?
Well, maybe he wasn't doing the same things that Diddy was. Was like he was using people,
his enterprise.
Yeah, like he probably was just using the fact that he was using his enterprise in a different way. Yeah, he was using more his power than it was his enterprise.
So he was using like his influence and who he is instead of like everybody around.
Yeah, like his enterprise would have done the gift. So if you would have slept with me, then the enterprise would have rewarded you for that. But it wasn't like the enterprise set everything up so that now we're together and I'm committing a crime against you. Mm-hmm. So, but I just think that was just crazy. I didn't watch the whole interview. I'm not gonna pay you, Candace. I'm sorry. You're not getting no money out of me.
Yeah, more clips will come out eventually.
Yeah, you're going to give it up anyway. You're a loosey-goosey with that. To me, I know we was joking about like getting certain deals and contracts and stuff like that, but it's just some things where it's like I couldn't imagine having a conversation with somebody like this and not being on his ass the whole interview.
Yeah.
Like that was the only way I'm going to do it. If I'm going to be able to ask my questions, be as heavily critical as I need to be. I'm not going to sit there and yes sir you and nod my head at the dude who's convicted. At least it's still one of his convictions are still in place. The New York one is being challenged again, like I said,
because of technicalities.
But the LA one is still in place. He's trying to appeal it, and we'll see what happens there. Again, justice needs to be served regardless if he you think about him. But I just don't see how Candace can live with herself.